cogent critique.
Hi guys, welcome back to another one. So yes, about less than a year ago, about 4 or 5 months ago, my trust was too high, unfortunately, and I feel like a fool. Scary story happened to me, true story, via Craigslist. Basically, long story short, I have a really good friend of mine. I'm not going to name names, but his father has got dementia and is in a nursing home. But before his father, my friend's father, had dementia, he collected these NASCAR type cars like this, these die-cast cars. And he wanted help selling them, my friend, to get money to help fund his father's nursing home expense. Makes sense, right? And his dad had tons of these. We got boxes of them. And I wasn't having a lot of luck selling them on eBay, actually, particularly because they're worth, maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks a car at most, but they're heavy, so they're not really akin to eBay and shipping. So I thought, all right, let's list them on Craigslist, see what happens. I list them, I have them all up there. I think I had a whole lot of them for like, I don't know, 300 bucks. And I get this text from this guy on a Friday night, and he goes, I'm really interested in those cars of yours. When can I come over and see them? Now, this is where the foolishness on my end comes in. I should never let anyone in your home anymore with Craigslist unless you have no other choice, or even Facebook Marketplace, but especially Craigslist, right? Stupid, 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 guys. So I said, yeah, come and meet me at my place. So I give him my address, and the first weird thing that happens is he comes to the door with his buddy. And I know that because I have a peephole at my door, and I'm looking out, and I see he's got a friend with him. And they both look disheveled and just absolutely trashy. But I'm like, well, maybe the guy's in the NASCAR, right? Because some people that are into NASCAR can look kind of trashy. Mind you, his dad was my friend's dad, very upstanding guy. And he collected these for years. He bought them like at Kmart. These are all dated like 2000, 2001. So I let these guys in my apartment, and I got the boxes out of them, and I'm sitting in my chair and everything by my computer. And they're looking at them, and he goes, yeah, these are cool and everything. But he goes, all of a sudden, this is where we had this awkward moment of silence where I didn't know what was going to happen. He goes, these were stolen from me. And I had these in a storage shed up 9 Mile. And they were stolen like 2 or 3 years ago. And I said, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I 100% promise you that these were not from there. I'm selling them for my friend, not even me. And I was just trying to put a smile on my friend's face, just saying, hey, look, I know this isn't much, buddy, but I got us 300 bucks or whatever for your dad. And you know how they say, let no good deed go unpunished, right? I had to put up with this instead. These two hostile weirdos in my home. And he goes, yeah, these were stolen from me. And I said, dude, these came from across the state, not even where you're mentioning. You have no idea what you're talking about. And they go, no, these were stolen. We got to get to the bottom of this. Who's your friend? Being the fact that this was an idiotic thing for me to let them in my home, and I was an idiot for doing so, and he had his buddy with him, so that makes it even worse. I tell him, I said, well, I'll get my friend over here and we'll talk about this. So I get on my phone and text my buddy. Thank God he was actually close by. He goes, don't worry about it. I'm going to be right over. So he comes over, and my buddy says, yeah, my father that I'm having my friend sell these, for ultimately for his benefit, collected these from like the early 90s, like late 90s, to like early 2000s. These are definitely not, and the dumbest part of this is like, there's nothing unique about this. And anybody could have bought one of these back in 1999 or 2001, I think this one is from. And so the guy goes, nope, I know these were stolen. The collection is just too similar, blah, 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 blah. And so I thought it was a scam. In fact, it might still very well be a scam. But my friend goes, why don't we go outside, get out of my friend's home, and let's call the police. So we call the police. They show up. And the officer that shows up can't believe this story either. He's like, do you have any evidence of this at all? Well, no, it looks like a lot like the car. I just know it's mine. No unique markings. And we all told him, like, dude, you realize these are mass produced, right? Anybody could have went and bought these. This isn't just your collection, necessarily. And he goes, no, this is 100% mine. And one of them was worth $100,000. Now, this is where lies contradict themselves, guys. I had this for sale for $300. I know there was no car in there for $100,000. But if I had something stolen from me that was worth $100,000 and somebody was asking $300, you know what I'd do? I'd buy it. I'd just call it a day and say, shit, man, I'm out $300. So, anyway, very sketchy looking guys. Big conundrum. Took up a whole, 2-3 hours of my afternoon. I don't know what these guys' plans were. I don't know if this is a scam and they were hoping that maybe they were stolen and that I would just not know who I stole it from, and then I would just go, yeah, have them, I don't know what their plan was. But if I would have been elderly or vulnerable, this could have gone way worse. So unfortunately, it's getting to that point where you can't trust people anymore, even with sales, even with CRAIGSLIST. And I've been talking to some people that say all they do now is just list and drop. They put a price on it and they trust people, and there's a trust problem there. But if it's an item that's less than $50, they'll just set it outside and say, put the money under the rug or whatever. Just come get it on the porch or whatever. Get it in this alleyway, whatever. People are tired of the social interactions, right? But I mean, this was especially disconcerting. I mean, this was very scary. At that moment when he goes, these are stolen, when he gives me this look, I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm going to get attacked in my own home. Because he was really serious, or at least in his mind was serious, or whatever he was doing, and I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'd love to know if you have similar stories to this. Maybe maybe you've had something similar. Maybe you're aware of this scam. I don't know. Obviously very awkward. That was scary. Just having two people two of them, not one, and that was the first red flag. I will never meet somebody again from selling something like that, like Craigslist or whatever, unless we're meeting out of my home. It's not gonna be here in my home. These guys reeked of cigarette smoke, and they drove this trashy-ass pickup truck, too. So anyway, that's a real-life true story. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments section. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.